Hey everyone, my name is Matt Regan. I play Magnus Mulciber in The Gathering Storm, and I'm also the writer and producer of Pretty Little Witch, which is a cool song that hopefully you're going to enjoy, that you will hear soon. The project kind of was proposed when we have a scene in the film and there's a radio playing and we got some music coming on. So it's a bit of diegetic sound, meaning that it exists within the world of the film. It's not like score put on top of it or anything. But we needed a song that could be playing over this radio in this particular scene. And for obvious copyright reasons, we couldn't use a real song. So we had to write one. So the production team gave me a call. They knew I wrote music and said, would you do it? Obviously. This project has a number of challenges. First, it needed to be a song that would be radio appropriate for 1977. Meaning it needed to sound authentic. In addition to that, it needed to be something that would exist in the wizard world, the magical world, I guess I should say. And those both were really, really cool as sort of artistic restraints. So that's kind of what the challenge was. So when I was trying to figure out what kind of music wizards and witches and non-binary magic people would listen to, the only canon thing I really knew of was, Can You Dance Like a Hippogriff, which was by the Weird Sisters. It was featured in, I think it was the extended cut of The Goblet of Fire. I don't think it was the original theatrical release. But anyway, I listened to that song, and I tried to pick apart the instrumentation of it, and I realized that it's really not that different from music we listen to. They have electric guitars, they got a bass, they have bagpipes, they got drums, and yeah, they sound a little bit different. Like the distortion on the guitars is a little different. They had some kind of effects here and there just to kind of make things sound a little off kilter, but the instrumentation itself was right there. So I figured, why not do rock music? Which, of course, seeing as the film takes place in 1977 that is, I'm like, rock music, that's perfect. 1977, right after the British invasion, when the face of American music had been changed pretty much forever by these incredible British rock bands that were coming and touring in the United States and releasing albums over here, bands like Led Zeppelin, bands like The Who, The Beatles, Rolling Stones, Black Sabbath, guys like that. And it was awesome. So that was like my homework for a week, was just to get in that mindset by just listening to that kind of music, which was great. So one of the most important things for me when I set out to do this whole project was I decided that I was going to have to work very, very hard on making the lyrics authentic, making the lyrics something that work on their own as a song, but also don't feel like, a muggle or a no-mage is writing music about magical culture that he's never experienced. I thought about, other subject matter, things that I could write about, and of course, the concepts of love and longing and romantic tension, things like that. That's universal. So, I kind of thought, why wouldn't wizards and witches and non-binary magical folk write about these things? It makes perfect sense to me. So I'm a total nerd when it comes to historical accuracy and making things that are believable. So a big part of writing this and producing this was making sure that it sounded like it belonged in 1977, like it had been recorded, that year and was released then, so that when you heard it coming over the radio in the film, you're like, oh yeah, of course that would be on the radio in 1977. So a lot of that came down to the production, the instruments that I used, the ways that I recorded things. I recorded the bass on a Fender jazz bass. I love it. The Fender is a great American sound in that, especially in the bass and the guitar. So I wanted to use that, seeing as the Alohamonics, who wrote the song, would be an American band. I wanted to try to pull as many American sounds into the recording as I possibly could, which is why between the 1977 version and the single version, which I'm pretty sure are being released together, you'll hear that there's some extra organ stuff, extra electric keyboard stuff, and that was a sound that was very indicative of American music at the time. Bands like The Doors, bands like Boston, had a lot of those organ kind of sounds in it. So I wanted to pull a little bit of that into the recording as well. When it came to the guitar sound, I used a Epiphone SG, which I have right here. My good old guitar, my SG. This is a super classic rock guitar. I want to say it came out in the late 50s or early 60s. It was and remains a great guitar. It kind of became the face of rock music in the 70s with bands like, or guitarists like Pete Townsend and Angus Young from The Who and AC/DC respectively. They both played a lot of SGs, and so it kind of became like, you know, the literal face of guitar or rock music in the 70s. So I started with this, which of course is going to influence the sound because of, you know, the shape and the electronics in it and everything. I fed the SG through a Ibanez tube screamer, which is a stomp box that came out in the late 70s. It's an effect pedal. When the electronic signal comes in, there's a circuit board in there that modifies the electronic signal in whatever way the stomp box is designed to. And it changes your sound, and then it sends it out the other end to wherever it goes. So the tube screamer is really just a distortion pedal. It highlights overtones and harmonics in the signal to give it that crunchy, distorted sound that we all know and love in rock music. And then as far as post-production goes, everything that I did on the computer digitally after it was all recorded was I did a little bit of EQ on across the board on everything, on the entire track. And I added a little bit of distortion and a little bit of a tape warmth, tape grit, whatever you want to call it, to give it that vintage sound, to make it sound like it was done analog and was printed from tape to vinyl. Okay, I just gonna wrap everything up. Thank you so very much again to everyone who donated financially to this film, who supported us online, reblogged our stuff on Tumblr, liked our stuff, and shared our stuff on Facebook. Thank you guys. Without you, we could not have done this thing. I truly, sincerely mean that. And as a thank you, we are going to show you a sneak peek of what's coming up in The Gathering Storm, a Marauders fan film. So, I hope you enjoy it. See you around.
What do you want?
What's got you wandering a nut?
Nothing.
Right, we're at tear below. Go on.
How's your new friend?
James Potter, are you jealous?
Well, I know that girl is trouble, but she's got me in the mood to make a little magic with the wolves under the moon. I got an itch for a pretty little witch, yeah.
I'm a prefect, Peter. You've got to do what I say.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Come on.